Howdy, Travis from KnowHow here. Today we are going to do a deep dive into the authoritative way for you to equip all of your different locations, all your different franchisees with your playbook for how to do things through KnowHow's network mode, or what a lot of people call franchisor mode. This mode is transforming how franchises and network groups are able to equip their locations, equip their members with the step-by-step guidance that their staff need in order to fulfill their brand promises wherever they are at all across North America. Let me show you exactly how it works. All right, I've got network mode up here, and you can see I have this tab here. If you don't have this tab on your KnowHow account, that's because it's something that we need to activate for you. Just reach out to us if you already have a KnowHow hub, and we can activate network mode for you. But once network mode is activated, you'll see a list here of all of your member hubs, or some people might call them franchisees, all your different locations. And the benefit of doing things this way is every member hub will get access to all of your content that you want to send down to them. So all your step-by-step guides, all your documents, they have access to your playbook, but it's a hub specifically for them. So they can add their own team members. They can monitor where everyone is at in their training without being in a giant pool with every other staff member from every other location. They get their own individualized hub, but they get kickstarted with your content in their hub. It puts them on the 95-yard line when it comes to setting up a robust know-how hub, because they're getting your content, if you're the network or the franchisor, ported in to their hub. They get access to your playbook from day one. So you can see I have my members here, and you can see I've got this one, Acne Restoration of Georgia West. When I click on this, I get a lot of detail about how their team members are using KnowHow. So I can see how often they're logging in, how many processes and steps are completed, who has joined their hub. I can see who their administrators are, and I can go to their hub. Let me move that out of the way. I can go into their hub and hop around and observe where everything is at. So what we'll do is we'll hop into this hub for Acne Restoration of Georgia West, and you'll see here's all of their content that comes from me, the franchisor. If I click on any of these processes, you'll see we've got this powered by the franchisor, the network, whatever you call yourself, up at the top. So they can see that this content comes from you. But they also have the ability, if you choose, for them to create their own content. So let's say, for example, this is a franchisee's Dallas location, and they have an alarm code, and they want to put, hey, here's how you disarm the alarm code at our specific office. Now, obviously, that content is not relevant for every other location. It's just relevant specific to them. So they can create their own content as well, and they can add and monitor their own staff. So I can add my own team here if I'm the Dallas location, all of my water techs, all of my estimators, and I can set it up so that they are trained on your, as the franchisors, your training for water techs, your training for estimators. What this means is that every franchisee, every member across every location, all across North America, or wherever your locations are, get the exact same training. So your water techs, they're all standardized and trained up in the exact same way. And then if I am the owner of this franchise or the owner of this member hub, I can click into workflows here, and I can see what workflows have been assigned to team members. So you can see Max, he started this water tech new hire onboarding training. And so as new water techs join, they're getting the playbook of the franchisor on this is how we become a water tech. The beauty of this way of doing things is you can ensure that your franchisees, your member hubs, they are fulfilling your brand promise across every location. They're training up their staff in the same way, but you're giving them autonomy. You're giving them the ability to add their own content. You're giving them the ability to train up and monitor their own staff, but it all rolls up to you. The content comes from you, and the insights roll up to you as well. Let's flip back into that franchisor mode, that network hub mode, and I'll show you a few other things that allow you to customize that experience even further. All right, I'm back in this member hub or franchisor mode. And let's say I wanted to add a new member. We just signed a new member to our member network. I would just click this button, add new member hub, and then I would send them this link. If I send someone this link, this is what they're going to see. They're going to be asked to create a KnowHow account if they don't have one already. If they do have one, they're just going to create their member name. So call it Acme Restoration of Southern Louisiana. Then I punch in my address as well. Louisiana. It's going to create a dynamic URL based on what their title was. And just like that, I'm going to click that. They're going to watch a video of how to take advantage of this new playbook that is at their fingertips while their hub is getting set up. Once we're on the other side of that, they are going to be added to that list. So let's flip back to that list here. We'll give it a few more minutes for this new member hub to join our list here. And I'll show you a few other settings in the meantime that a lot of our member networks and franchisors really, really like. We often hear franchisors, member networks say, we want to make sure that we're comfortable with all the content that is produced under our logo. And so some of these member hubs, we're totally comfortable with them creating their own content, such as what's the alarm code or their specific way of doing things. Other member hubs, we want to have a little bit of oversight. First, what is the content they're creating and make sure we're comfortable with our logo beside it. So what those groups do is they activate this option, require network hub admins to approve content. What this means is when a new process is created, if that hub is not pre-approved to publish their own content, then that content will be sent first to the franchisor or the network hub administrator for approval. They will review the content, and then once it gets approved, then it will appear live in the hub of the franchisee or the member who created that content. You can see here, I can customize this list of who is pre-approved to create content or not. Acme Restoration of Georgia West, they are pre-approved. 5-star gold franchisee is pre-approved, and we'll say Northern Quebec, they're still getting online. We are not going to pre-approve them. Now let's hop into the Northern Quebec and we'll see what that experience is like. I'm going to click here, go to the Northern Quebec hub, and now I'll create a piece of content for the 5-star gold of Northern Quebec, and you'll see what it's like for them to submit content that needs approval. Let's make something like how to create an invoice in QuickBooks. We get our AI to create this content for us, expedite the process here. You can see our AI is writing this process right in front of us, how to create an invoice in QuickBooks. Step 1, log in, navigate to invoices, XYZ all the way down. Looks great. All right, so now if you're familiar with KnowHow, you'll know that usually this button says publish. But today it says request approval because we need to submit this content from Northern Quebec for approval first. So we'll click that button, request for approval, and now it's sent that request. So the administrators would have just gotten a notification that says, hey, someone from Northern Quebec has requested content, please review it. So let's hop back in here, we'll hit refresh. And you'll see now we have a notification that Northern Quebec has a process to approve. So you can see up here it says one process to review, and then there's a little one by 5-star gold of Northern Quebec. Hey, we've got a process that needs approval. Let's check it out. We're going to click this, and it's going to show us the content from Northern Quebec here. So I'm going to click 5-star gold in Northern Quebec. I can see all the content from all my franchisees or members here. In this case, I only have the one, how to create an invoice in QuickBooks. Here, I can review it at a glance and say, actually, yeah, this looks good. I'm comfortable with this. And I can approve or reject it on the spot. Additionally, if I want to make some edits, I just click this edit button up here, and that'll take me into the hub to make those edits. In this case, this looks good to me. I'll click approve. So just like that, it took me no more than a minute to review this content from 5-star gold of Northern Quebec and make sure that it was on brand to my franchise. Because of the power of network mode, you're able to equip your franchisees or your members with all the information they would need to be successful in their role. So for example, let's say I have SLAs, PDFs, how-tos that I want my franchisees to have access to. I can go here to Magic Docs. I can upload all the manuals that are relevant to my role. And if I want to sync it down so that every franchisee or every member also has access to that same content, I can click this button, toggle this on to sync it down to member hubs. So let's do that. We have this Florida building code down here. I'm going to click this. I'm going to click this button, sync with member hubs. What that's going to do is ensure that every one of my member hubs that are connected to my network account have access to this Florida building code. Let's flip back over to that Northern Quebec hub and check it out. All right, I'm back in the Northern Quebec hub here, and let's click Files. This is going to show me all the content that's been synced down from my franchisor or network that I'm connected to. And of course, you can see here this Florida building code that we just gave access to our member hub to be able to see. I can ask questions based off of this, such as what are the 3 levels of training being developed by the commission? All of that's here. Because we have AI on top of it, all the processes, all the PDFs that I supply my franchisees or members with, they can just ask a question in English, in Spanish, in French, and get an instant answer. So for example, we have this process, clean affected area regs. And so this came to me from my network that I'm connected to or franchisor. And here's a step-by-step process on how to clean rugs. Let's say, for example, I'm not sure if I should take a rug that needs to be deodorized offsite or not. I can just ask on my mobile device or on my computer. We also have a Chrome extension. I can just ask the question. This rug needs to be deodorized. Should I take it off site? And what our AI is going to do is going to search through all the processes and the PDFs that I, as the network hub, gave my franchisees or my member, as well as any content they've created in order to find the answer. You can see the answer here. It found that clean affected area rugs process that we were referencing. It says, hey, Travis, yes, if the rug needs to be deodorized, it should be taken off-site. And then I click the link. It takes me back to that process we were just looking at. And then here is where I see a rug that needs to be wet cleaned and deodorized or contaminated will be taken offsite. You can see how the processes, the PDFs, the documentation, the knowledge that I am given my franchisees or my member hubs can be quickly translated into instant answers in any language and standardized training and onboarding for every role, thanks to KnowHow. KnowHow is totally transforming how companies can fulfill their brand promise from coast to coast and equip their franchisees or members to scale and grow without reinventing the wheel every time. For more tips and tricks on how you can use KnowHow to scale and grow your company, you know what to do, head to tryknowhow.com. Thanks.